सुनने वालों को सिराज ज़ैदी का बहुत बहुत प्यार भरा आदाब, नमस्कार and good afternoon. You're very welcome to the program. You're listening to Apna Radio, broadcasting at 93.9 Dublin South FM. Each Thursday, I'm here until 4 o'clock and India time 8:30, from 7:30 to 8:30. And this is your own local broadcaster, broadcasting from the Dundrum Town Centre to the world out there. And so wherever you are, tune me in, as I call it. Today's program is going to be excellent as usual, kicking off with the news item, and then I shall be moving into another interesting element of foreign policy of India, confused foreign policy. That's Sharad puts it. That's not, I didn't do it. But we're going to listen to that. That is going to be an interesting, the way geopolitics is working out in that part of the world. So that'll be great. But first of all, first thing first, let's play the news of the week, and what we call it a news India this week, whatever is that's what it's called. Sit back, relax, and listen to the news of the week.
Good afternoon. I'm Charmaine Colvin, and you are listening to Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM. On India this week, US President Donald Trump's additional 25% tariff imposed for India buying Russian oil and weapons took effect yesterday, sending the Indian government into firefighting mode. India, one of the US's strongest partners in the Indo-Pacific, is one of a number of countries hit with the highest tariffs in the world. This could deal a blow to exports and growth in the world's fifth largest economy, given that the US was until recently India's largest trading partner. In response to the steep 50% tariffs in total, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a promise earlier this month to cut taxes to mitigate their economic impact. He also urged domestic self-reliance. He said that a Diwali gift in the form of a massive tax bonanza was on its way for the common man and the millions of small businesses that power Asia's third largest economy. During the Independence Day celebrations, Modi also urged small shop owners and businesses to put up Made in India boards outside their shops. Modi's drive to improve manufacturing as part of India's GDP has not proved successful, despite government subsidies and production incentives. Modi is now looking to overhaul India's goods and service tax with the aim of leading to higher consumer spending. Meanwhile, the war of words between Delhi and Washington, especially over the former's energy purchases from Russia, have only intensified, and trade renegotiations, which were set to begin earlier this year, have been called off. Police in India have arrested a man who recently alleged that he had been coerced into burying hundreds of bodies of women who were raped before being murdered. His startling claims have thrown the tiny religious town of Dharmasthala in the southern state of Karnataka into turmoil. Home to the centuries-old temple to Manjunatha Swami, an incarnation of Shiva from the Hindu Holy Trinity, the town attracts thousands of pilgrims daily and is central to the fabric of local people's lives. The government has set up a special investigation team to verify the man's allegations. The man said he had worked as a cleaner at the temple from 1995 to 2014, and when taken to the magistrate, he produced a human skull, which he said belonged to a body he had buried. The cleaner did not name anyone but blamed the temple administration and its staff, allegations which the temple chief rejected as false and baseless. The allegations have resulted in a huge political row. The issue was discussed at the latest state assembly, with opposition BJP members calling it a smear campaign against a Hindu religious site. Home Minister G. Parameshwara from the state's governing Congress party said the government had no intention of preventing the course of justice. India's Election Commission, one of the most trusted public institutions in the world's largest democracy, is facing a test of its credibility. Over the past few weeks, it has fielded a string of allegations from the opposition, ranging from voter fraud and manipulation to inconsistencies in electoral rolls, all of which have been denied. Opposition leaders who have held massive protests against the ECI in recent days said they were considering an impeachment motion to remove the chief election commissioner from his position. However, they had not filed a motion by last Thursday, the last day of the monsoon session of Parliament, and currently don't have the numbers to see it through. Outspoken politician Rahul Gandhi, leader of India's main opposition party Congress, has launched a 16-day, 1,300-kilometre march known as the Voters' Rights March in Bihar state to protest against the ECI, marking a dramatic escalation in the political fight. Bihar is set to vote in a key state election later this year and is currently in the middle of a heated controversy over a recent revision of electoral rolls. Gandhi first made the allegations of vote theft in August, accusing the ECI of colluding with the governing BJP to rig the 2024 general elections. According to a survey published this month by Locknity, a research programme at the Centre for the Study of Developing Societies, trust in the ECI has dropped sharply. In all 6 states surveyed by CSDS in 2025, the number of people who had no trust in the EC had risen sharply from 2019. In Uttar Pradesh, India's most populous state, it rose from 11% to 31% in the period. At least 30 people have been killed and many more injured after heavy rains triggered a massive landslide in Indian-administered Kashmir, according to local media reports. The landslide near the Vaishno Devi shrine on a popular Hindu pilgrimage route in the Katra area was the latest disaster caused by heavy monsoon rains in the Himalayan region that have left hundreds dead and missing in India and Pakistan. Heavy rains have led India to open the gates of large dams on the swollen rivers in its territory, warning Pakistan of potential downstream flooding, according to news agencies. Pakistan began evacuating tens of thousands of people on Tuesday after New Delhi alerted Islamabad about possible cross-border flooding. Meanwhile, amid forecasts for further rainfall, Indian authorities were working to restore telecommunications services, which were almost non-existent amid the deluge, said Omar Abdullah, Chief Minister for Indian-administered Kashmir. According to officials, more than 1,200 people have been killed in monsoon-related incidents in India since June, DPA have reported, while at least 800 have died in Pakistan since late June. Investigators in India will visit a vast private zoo owned by the billionaire Ambani family after the Supreme Court ordered an inquiry into allegations that animals were acquired unlawfully and mistreated. The inquiry will also examine possible violations of wildlife laws at Vantara, as well as allegations of financial irregularities and money laundering. The Supreme Court said there were no proof to support the allegations, but ordered an inquiry because authorities had been accused of failing to do their duties. Vantara, run by Anant Ambani, son of Asia's richest man, Mukesh Ambani, is home to hundreds of elephants, tigers and other animals. It has promised full cooperation with the inquiry. Vantara remains committed to transparency, compassion and full compliance with the law. Our mission and focus continues to be the rescue, rehabilitation and care of animals, it said, without directly commentating on the allegations. And finally, researchers at Madurai Kamaraj University in Tamil Nadu have been digitally reconstructing faces to understand what the region's early inhabitants might have looked like. They have been using human skulls excavated from Kondage, an ancient burial site about 4 kilometres from 𝐀𝐩𝐧𝐚, an archaeological site that has become a political flashpoint in India. Archaeologists there say an urban civilization dating back to 580 BC existed in 𝐀𝐻𝐧𝐚, a claim that adds a new dimension to the story of the Indian subcontinent. Researchers are now extracting DNA from human bones and other goods found in burial urns at the site to better understand who the inhabitants of 𝐀𝐻𝐧𝐚 were and what their lifestyle was like. So that's all on India this week. You have been listening to Apna Radio 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Thank you very much, Charmaine, for giving us some sort of a great, interesting information about the news in India, and particularly what's going on, with in terms of monsoon, in terms of the rain, and all that is creating a big problem. And it's an annual thing. It's nothing new in Delhi. There's a floods in Noida and new so-called the new colonies and expensive apartment business people are doing there, exchanging huge amount of money and all that. But particularly when it comes to infrastructure, drainage system, zilch is the word. So poor engineering, poor infrastructure in that sense. Moving on to the interesting item that Sharad has put together. Before that, I would like to say a few things about what's going on. Oh, by the way, this is the final program about the 16th Indian Film Festival of Ireland that I'm running it here at the Nutgrove Shopping Centre, Omniplex Nutgrove, and then it's going to be at the Bridge Enterprise Centre as well on the 5th and 6th of September, which is this Friday and Saturday. The 2-day festival, 3-day festival actually, Sunday as well. Omniplex is on Sunday as well. So go on the www.iffi.ie. Or you can also see the schedule and the tickets and everything at the eventbrite.ie. 16th Indian Film Festival of Ireland, www.eventbrite.ie. Anyway, this is something happening this weekend. And so 5th of September, which is Friday, we are opening at the 6 o'clock reception. And then we will be giving interesting, details of how the festival is going to be, pan out, because lots happening in terms of event, in terms of screening, in terms of all of that is very, very interesting. Check it out, the schedule. In fact, we have 11 films, 6 films at the Bridge Enterprise Centre, 2 films at the Bridge Enterprise Centre in the morning on the 5th. And then there are a few films there as well on Saturday. All of that is happening between 5th and 6th, and the 7th is the closing film, Moho, and 2 short films. So that's what the menu is like. But do check it. It's all available at www.iffi.ie. Talking about the global problem, in fact, the theme of the festival has been this year, peace, make films, not war. Peace in the world, make films, not war. And when you do this sort of a piece, you got to engage the warring factors, the people who are in the process of, engage in war and everything else. So this is something that we tried our level best to engage with the Ukrainian embassy. And I invited the Ukrainian ambassador to come and to give her opinion about the Make Films Not War. But unfortunately, she is unable to attend the festival. Although in the program, her picture is there and we've tried our best. But I will be in regala. I will be in the suit of Ukrainian flag that is specially made for the festival. And I shall be talking about exactly what's happening. And her reason for not attending is that I cannot associate with anything India, because India is buying Russian oil and supporting Mr. Putin's war against us. Well, she's got a point, and a legitimate point, so therefore she cannot attend my film festival, our film festival, should I say. But this is what is all about. Geopolitics is a very complex world, and it's getting more complex, and next week we will be looking quite deep into all of that, because India and China, 50% tariff. Because of that, Modi has actually tried to be pally-wally with Donald Trump, but on the other hand, Donald Trump turned around and poked the knife in his back by slamming 50% tariff to India. Who will suffer? The poor business people will suffer, not Mr. Modi himself. So this is something which is a very dirty game going on in the world. The whole world is really gearing towards a bigger action, bigger war, because Europe is really, if you look at it, like Viktor Orban and Hungarian Prime Minister, why Putin has actually made his one foot in Europe by controlling Viktor Orban and controlling Hungary, who is actually singing the praises of Putin sitting in Europe. I mean, hello, Europe is trying to fight and to stop this aggression coming towards them, particularly to the neighboring border of Russia and Ukraine. And here we have this kind of nonsense going on in Hungary, who is blatantly supporting the Mr. Putin himself. So it's not a war against Russia and the world and all that, because Russia is a very clever player in this whole game. You remember the Cold War days before Gorbachev and before Perestroika. This is the Russia he wanted to bring it back. And Gorbachev is gone, but he got the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize. But who is doing a peace work? I am doing the peace work. I'm saying that make films, not war. Peace in the world. This is something. So I should be deserving a Nobel Peace Prize, because of all of that. Is the Nobel Peace Prize should go to people who are making peace effort, not warring effort, and creating havoc in the businesses, slamming tariff. A 50% tariff to the Indian businessman is going to be ruined. And that's why Mr. Modi has said that it's the greatest Diwali presents that he has given to Indian business people. So Indian business people have got, deep pockets, hopefully, and they will survive this kind of nonsense. Anyway, so this is something which I'm able to, when I'm able to explain to you, and then I would be able to tell people that what's happening here and there, people should understand. But this is a very dirty world we're living in. The world has become so complicated, and my effort has always been to create peace, calm, do business, do film, make films, and do critical films, and go beyond the boundaries of a nation you live in to propagate Indian cinema. Indian cinema is not restricted to Ireland or to UK. My effort is now focusing on beyond Europe, and therefore I'm engaging with the rest of the world through their embassies. So we can do a festival in Ukraine someday, in Istanbul some other day, and do even in Holland, even in Netherlands. We have a delectable filmmaker and an actor, 𝐀𝐩𝐧𝐚 𝐑𝐚𝐝𝐢, coming over from Amsterdam, from Holland. And we are talking about hoping to have a film festival in Netherlands. Beyond those places which I talked about it earlier on, there's a lot of European city which does have a festival, of Indian Film Festival, in Boston, in Amsterdam doesn't have one, but in Italy it has one, river to river. In Germany it has, in UK it has, Australia, of course in a Scandinavian country, in Oslo. So I am hoping to do more films and expose more Indian cinema to beyond the boundaries of Ireland. And that is the reason that I'm trying to engage those who are not clear about it, those who are making a confusion about this issue, that why am I talking to the international embassies? The reason is very simple, that I do want to reach out to them to propagate and to introduce Indian cinema into their country through their diplomatic channel. And that is my effort. Anyway, Sharad has got to put together another beautiful piece about our foreign policy, and let's hear to it what he's talking about it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular clip.
So, India's foreign policy is at crossroads. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the latest in the drama, the Trump tariff war of 50%, previous to that, the Chinese aggression in Doklam and Galwan Valley, Gaza-related abstention of India at United Nations. All this put together, India's new experimentation with a new mix of realism and autonomy in foreign policy is what we are seeing here. This experiment has yielded some results in short term. Again, it is subjective to interpretation, like it has brought a convergence deeper with the US. It is able to leverage with the Russian by the import of cheaper oil, although it is not able to pass on the benefit to the common public, and assessment of where China stands with the Indian border. So India is looking at the foreign policy like a business shop. What it has done is, it has eroded what India possessed, the moral capital that once multiplied India's global influence. So the path ahead requires an integrated maturity, like it has to be realistic in its security with China and partnering Pakistan. It has to be pragmatic with its economics when it comes to Russian oil. But then it has to be principled in diplomacy. All this is very difficult with the transactional path that India has taken. And therefore, we see the optics of the Indian Prime Minister sharing the same platform with the Pakistani Prime Minister. We are seeing the handshake of the Indian Prime Minister with Xi Jinping. Overall, the stakes are immense. Economically, India's industrial rise depends on how smartly it navigates through the tariff wars, and it is able to define, realign the supply chain. But then, more importantly, Operation Sindhu's experience, we have seen that the national security of India actually hinges on how China is behaving and how India is able to manage Pakistan without losing escalation control. With all this, morally, it is a global role in continuation that India has to play as a peacemaker. But today, we are losing that ground. We are losing the role of international peacemaker. Foreign policy is not merely the projection of India's interest abroad. It actually mirrors how India's domestic confidence, its historical inheritance, and the aspiration of the future interplay with each other. India's stance on Gaza, by abstaining the vote on Gaza at the UN, does not reflect the domestic configuration of the Indian democracy. Historically, India has been supporting the cause of Palestine. In that case, India's foreign policy stands against the domestic and the democratic mandate of people of India. As far as the aspirations of the future is concerned, depending on the import of technology from the United States is not a policy that can be furthered, that cannot be taken into future. Time and again, there has been friction between India and America, whether it was immediately after Namaskar Trump visit, and that was regarding the hydrochloroquine during COVID, or it is currently with the 50% tariff due to import of Russian oil. US cannot be trusted as a long-term economic partner. You never know when the switch will turn off. A brief look at the history. India, through its non-aligned movement since 1961, where India had been the founding member of this movement. It was a moral voice in global affairs, and also it was a peacekeeper trusted by the adversaries. Cut to 2025. Today, the foreign policy is very transactional. It is taking a hard-nosed realism, and it is looking for multi-alignment, sharing stage with the Chinese premier, with the Pakistani prime minister, with the Turkish president, and all those who have played a negative role in Operation Sindoor. But then, these are consequences of the transactional foreign policy. Last week, we saw a photographed narrative of the Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi, the Russian President Putin, and the Chinese Premier Xi Jinping at the Shanghai summit. And it was a photo opportunity to cultivate a deepening, a counterbalance to Washington's partnership, and also a retaliation to Washington that India is looking for different partnerships across regions. But one photo op is not enough to define the foreign policy. One photo op with a nation that has always been hostile with the Indian northern borders cannot define the foreign policy. The photo op of Mr. Modi with the Chinese Premier Xi Jinping cannot define the hostility and the partnership of Pakistan and China. So my point is, Indian foreign policy is fluid. There are no solid results. There were no backers to India's Operation Sindoor. That is the reality. So what is the long-term vision of India's current foreign policy? That should be the question we should ask, because it has to reflect the democracy of India. It has to reflect the future aspirations of India, the economic aspirations of India. India cannot depend on the Chinese import to raise a pillar of India's economic might. If you look at the bigger picture, India's foreign policy is currently based on issues like India partners with United States in the Quad and imports defense technologies, manufactures and designs US defense technologies. It also, on the other side, maintains a seat in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the BRICS Nation Organization, preserving a friendship with Russia and have access to the global south. While this is an opportunity to create trade bonds, it is not able to curb the pacing threat of China. China has been contesting India's border. It has been arming Pakistan. It is building naval infrastructure in the Indian Ocean, and it seeks to dominate technological and financial standards. So India is trying to use the US power, capital, and technology to counterbalance China. So the shift in the foreign policy from the olden days is from non-alignment to multi-alignment, to opportunism, and to project India with the strategic autonomy and redefine India's freedom to choose partners which are based on issues, to choose partners based on what the objectives are and at what time. But the history goes that foreign policy cannot be defined by opportunism. There has to be some fundamental and commonality between the nations, between the leaders, and the common future that the two countries have to look together. In today's world, the power is fragmented across the globe. It is a multipolar world. Alliances are fluid. Turkey, for example, belongs to NATO, but then is an equal friend to Russia. The global convergence, the global governance of the West and the dominance is getting challenged. We have seen ample data in the Russian-Ukraine war. Therefore, India is finding an opportunity to do a balancing act, to balance the power in redefining the shape of the global order. If you look at the presence of 23 heads of state in Beijing's Military Day parade, which is going to happen this week, there are few presidents of the countries, there are few heads of state which have been invited to China and have direct consequences to India. Like President of Iran. Iran had been India's trading partner and principal partner in supporting Palestine causes as well as on the global geopolitics. But then India has deserted Iran in the latest geopolitical configuration. Then China is hosting Prime Minister of Pakistan in the same Military Day parade. Prime Minister of Nepal, our northern borders, President of Maldives, and the acting President of Myanmar. If you see the picture, the geography of these heads of state without India being invited to the Military Day parade at Beijing, India stands isolated. And not only that, India stands encircled by the countries where China is creating an influence. Did the Prime Minister of India's optics with a warm handshake with Putin and Xi Jinping have any leverage? I don't think so. This optics may be a real irritant, a minor irritant to Donald Trump's 50% tariff on Indian goods. But then, if the Indian foreign policy is staging this photo op to signal that India has other options, then I think there is a mistake there. India's growth engine is based on technology, capital, and market access, and that remains tied to US and Europe. But then it has to be fueled by the Russian oil. What if the American investment in semiconductor stops? What happens if the defense manufacturing of US in India slows down? And what happens if American investment in India's energy sector slows down or is retracted? India is playing with fire. If you look at the tariff turbulence, the US tariff on China is less than India, even though China is importing Russian oil. So the reasoning of the Trump administration that India gets a 50% tariff because it is importing Russian oil is flawed. Discounted Russian oil will certainly stabilize Indian oil dependency, but then how much the discount is, it is not being passed on to the Indian public. And therefore, the energy cushion that the Russian cheap oil is providing is only helping the Ambani refinery. And if India is trying to create a China plus one opportunity by diversifying its supply chain, then it has a long way to go, because this transition requires deep industrial policy and a sustained capital flow. As you know, India's industrial policy again is in a state of flux. Whether we are talking about Made in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-sufficiency or Make in India, the industrial policy is not clear. So India is on crossroad. It has to grow again into a moral stretcher, but then also have to shift towards ground of realism. It has to retain hard power in dealing with China and Pakistan, but then somehow has to balance without trusting the United States for capital and technology, but then continue to be friends with the long-term and trusted partners like Russia. Even though Russia on its own and economically may not be as strong as the United States, India has to rebuild a credible moral grammar on global issues like Palestine, like climate change, like humanitarian crisis, like diversity. And these are not transactional. They are fundamental. They are a long-term moral ground that India has to take. In the end, I would say that there has to be a measure of maturity in not just surviving this poly-crisis, but shaping the outcome of India's future. India today is strong enough, but just not enough to stay strong and face the partnership of China and Pakistan together. It is not strong enough to deter the capital from United States. And it is not strong enough to just depend on the Russian oil. It's a long way to go in the foreign policy, because India has muddied the water of alignment of its moral take on global issues. The world expects no less from India. The geopolitics of today is uncertain. The future aspirations of Indian foreign policy is uncertain. With those thoughts and the geopolitical drama that is going on in China and in our neighborhood, of course in Washington, I leave you until next week. Stay safe, stay strong, and dutifully ask questions. Bye for now.
Dublin South FM.
You wouldn't buy a car without knowing its history. So why would you buy a story without knowing who's telling it? Come here and I tell you. It's not always easy to verify what you see, read, or hear. But now there's help. Visit www.bemediasmart.ie. Stop, think, check. Be Media Smart. Brought to you by Media Literacy Ireland, supported by RTE.
93.9 Dublin South FM.
Indeed, welcome back to the program, and that is Dublin South FM, broadcasting at 93.9 here from the Dundrum Town Centre. So, as you have heard, that our foreign policy, and I'm not going to dabble into analyze all of that, because that's something not I'm very sort of comfortable with. That's one thing, and plus that the pertinent subject is the peace in the world, as Sharad has quite rightly has said, that peace in the world is in dire need, and that's all I can do. A little artist, a broadcaster, a filmmaker who is trying to make films, who's trying to make a, produce film festival annually. All of that is very much is my brief. And in my brief, broadcasting and reflecting what's happening in geopolitics is something very dear to my heart. And that's what I'm trying to do, is just to give you the information about what's globally the India is spinning, how it's spinning, and how it is going to affect the common man and the common businessman. So with those thoughts, I would say I will once again take a track from the film that I'm going to release here on Friday, and that is going to be the 𝐸𝐴, which is all about making peace among the communities and among the neighbors. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular track.
पतंग की डोर, पतंग की डोर, पतंग की डोर अपने हाथ तोड़ी नहीं जाती, पतंग की डोर अपने हाथ तोड़ी नहीं जाती, तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती, तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती। काज दोस्त यार नहीं रिश्तेदारी, हाँ जी नहीं रिश्तेदारी, अकेले काटूं समय अब लगता नहीं भारी, हाँ जी लगता नहीं भारी, लगता नहीं भारी समय लगता नहीं भारी, हुआ है इसक जब से हमको नींद नहीं आती, हुआ है इसक जब से हमको नींद नहीं आती, तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती,
तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती, नहीं जाती। करने के हैं बहाने चार, तुमसे बात करने के हैं बहाने चार, छू के देखो हमको भी है वैसा सा बुखार,
वैसा सा बुखार, हाँ वैसा सा बुखार,
कैसे और क्या अब कहीं नहीं जाती,
कैसे और क्या अब कहीं नहीं जाती, तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती, तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती।
German Bhaiyo, so this song will be playing at the at the Omniplex on the 5th of September. And the film starts at 7 o'clock, and it's a long film, 7:30. There will be some speeches, pleasantries, and introduction to the film, and to the visiting star of the film, Mr. Javed Jaffrey himself, who played the lead role in this film. So the lineup for the evening is the 𝐸𝐴 𝐸𝐴, who is going to be the officially opening the film festival, and then there will be few speeches, few introduction, and introduction of the movie itself, how it came about. Unfortunately, the director is not coming, Mr. Avinash Das, who planned to come, but he had some complication in traveling and all that. It's not that easy to travel from India to Ireland without any glitches, and despite the fact that the festival was forking out his travel expenses and everything, but despite all of that, you would find it difficult for people to take the time off, to reschedule their schedule and all that. So I'm really grateful for those who have been agreed and who are making their way into the festival. As I said, it's a very small film festival. It's not like 𝐢𝐭𝐬, it's not like, and Sydney Film Festival and all the other international Indian film festival. I'm a very small man in a very small film festival, which I've been sustaining for the last 16 years. So those who are concerned about sustainability of this film festival, they should not be concerned. Anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy another track.
तेवर दिखाए ऐसे काहे हम ही बनेंगे बेबी तोहरे सावरिया लिखवा ले डायरी में चाहे जितना भी कर ले रिजेक्ट पर हमको ही सिलेक्ट हाँ एक दिन तू करेगी रे ये जो होली का सीजन है लव करने का रीजन है ये मौका ना चुको दिल वालों रे दिल दिल से मिलैले कोई रहे ना दूरियां रे नीला पीला हरा गुलाबी केसरिया सब रंग बाटे खुशियां रे सब रंग मिल के ही प्यारे ये जग है बना रे सबको गले लगा ले रे ये जो होली का सीजन है लव करने का रीजन है ये मौका ना चुको दिल वालों रे अरे सारा रा 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 रंग डालो अरे सारा रा रा तन संग मन प्रेम से रंग डालो अरे सारा रा रा आज सबको कलरफुल कर डालो अरे सारा रा रा अरे सारा रा रा अंग अंग रंग डालो अरे सारा रा रा
So, a film that is made in north of India cannot be completed without playing an Holi song. So, that's a typical Holi song, and it's going to be an interesting one to see on the screen how it's been picturized, because this is a Vivan Shah lead actor in this, which is the son of Nasiruddin Shah, a talented young kid. He is proven himself to be, I've seen quite a lot of his work, and he is obviously pretty much free to act, as we call it, an actor. An actor without any hesitation. An actor, of course, you expect the son of Nasiruddin Shah to be a competent, talented young actor. So we'll see that, and that's going to be an interesting performance from that. I'm really looking forward to seeing this film. So if you have not actually, by the way, booked your tickets, please go on www.eventbrite.ie, because that is the website, the mother website of the tickets, and all the tickets are available on that website. And we are screening into Cinema 3 and Cinema 4, two cinema which has a capacity of roughly around 70 people, 65 people or something like that. So please do buy the ticket, and that ticket also include the buffet food that we are laying down for all the patrons who are coming over to see the film, and our audience. So enjoy that. And of course, the cake cutting ceremony is happening. Jim Gildia will be cake cutting it with us, and whoever is going to be the dignitaries will be with us to enjoy the opening ceremony and then the movie. So, another song? Yeah, why not? So sit back, relax, and enjoy this song.
कैसी शाम ढली महकी महबूब गली, आज कैसी शाम ढली महकी महबूब गली, सांसों ही सांसों में फूल बनी कली कली, फूल बनी कली कली, फूल बनी कली कली। हाँ सनम तेरी आँखों में चेहरा खुर्शीद का, सनम तेरी आँखों में चेहरा खुर्शीद का, चार चांद लगा गया एक चांद ईद का, चार चांद लगा गया एक चांद ईद का, एक चांद ईद का, एक चांद ईद का। महजबी माहिरू खुदा माहिरू, दिल नशी माहिरू, रहनुमा माहिरू, महजबी माहिरू खुदा माहिरू, दिल नशी माहिरू, रहनुमा माहिरू। तेरे कहने पे ज़र्दा छोड़ दिया, अरे जा जानम जा। तेरे कहने पे ज़र्दा छोड़ दिया, जा जानम जा। तेरे कहने पे ज़र्दा छोड़ दिया, जा जानम जा। तेरे कहने पे ज़र्दा छोड़ दिया, जा जानम जा। तूने फिर भी दिल तोड़ दिया, जा जानम जा। तूने फिर भी दिल तोड़ दिया, जा जानम जा। सिगरेट दारू नहीं नुक्कड़बाजी, नहीं नुक्कड़बाजी, नहीं नुक्कड़बाजी। बीड़ी सिगरेट दारू नहीं नुक्कड़बाजी, बीड़ी सिगरेट दारू नहीं नुक्कड़बाजी। पड़ोसी पे आया दिल
दिल है कैसा पाजी पड़ोसी पे आया आया दिल है कैसा पाजी तेरी खातिर धंधा गोड़ दिया जा जानम जा तेरे कहने पे जरदा छोड़ दिया अरे जा जानम जा अरे जा जानम जा जा जानम जा अरे जा जानम जा जा जानम जा 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 जानम जा जा जानम जा रे जा 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 जानम जा पतंग की डोर पतंग की डोर पतंग की डोर अपने हाथ तोड़ी नहीं जाती पतंग की डोर अपने हाथ तोड़ी नहीं जाती तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती काम काज दोस्त यार नहीं रिश्तेदारी हाँ जी नहीं रिश्तेदारी अकेले काटूं समय अब लगता नहीं भारी हाँ जी लगता नहीं भारी लगता नहीं भारी समय लगता नहीं भारी हुआ है इसक जब से हमको नींद नहीं आती हुआ है इसक जब से हमको नींद नहीं आती तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती तेरी ओर जाती सड़क अब मुड़ी नहीं जाती नहीं जाती तुमसे बात करने के है बहाने चार तुमसे बात करने के है बहाने चार छू के देखो हमको भी है वैसा सा बुखार हाँ वैसा सा बुखार कैसे और क्या अब कहीं नहीं जाती कैसे और क्या अब कहीं नहीं जाती
that's a wonderful song of the In Galiyon Mein, and that has been playing on my Facebook for quite some time. And there are a couple of Patang Ki Door, Mehjabi, Mehraru. All of these songs are wonderful songs, and of course the holy song as well. So with all these songs, and once again the final reminder to everybody that if you have not bought your ticket, please do buy your ticket at www.in. It's a fantastic website, www.eventbrite.ie, and you can purchase your ticket. The gala ticket, the gala night is a culture night of the culture night overall is happening in September as well, but this is a festival culture night that we do every year. Dine in style. And with the prosecco, bubbly, and all that, and culture dances, and then we have speeches and award ceremonies. That is the most important element of that, is the award ceremony, that we try to recognize and give awards to people who work, who support festival, who work with festival, and who are integral part of the festival. That is the very motto of this festival. So we will be honoring all of them and giving them the awards and all of that. So that's going to be a fantastic opportunity for people to enjoy the night, the culture night of the festival, the gala night. And yes, do dress up, black tie, why not? If you have a black tie, monkey suit, dinner jacket, and why not? As tuxedo, yes, and the ladies with the gowns and saris and elaborated glamorous dresses that you have in your wardrobe. Take it out and enjoy this particular festival. It comes once a year. Yes, this madness I do create once a year. It doesn't come very often, and how it comes, I don't know. The God knows. It just happens. With a lot of support, a lot of help, and particularly this year, I must mention the support that I got from, my right-hand man, Nakul Wali. Nakul is a very, very young, talented man who was the backbone for the last festival, and this year he has been really a backbone. And of course, Sanjo as well. So all of these friends, and they are supporters, and the MC Bindu during the opening and gala ceremony and closing ceremony. And how can I forget the people who really have been very kind to me in terms of sponsors, Clear Buckley, and all that. So everybody will be there, and gourmet dinner will be there during the festival for 2 days, 5th and 6th of September, this coming Friday and Saturday, and all of that is happening at the Nut Grove newly open Omniplex Cinema. That's a fantastic, technically very sound cinema. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy it. And I hope to see you next week, and I can give you the post-mortem of the festival. In the meantime, I'm leaving you with this song, and sit back, relax, and bye for now. And thank you very much for tuning me in today at Apna Radio, broadcasting at 93.9 Dublin South FM. Bye for now.